Back in Guangzhou, and to the biggest court I've ever seen, and the biggest courtroom in perhaps the entire world, certainly in Asia. And we're here to meet another deputy to the People's National Congress, Judge Chen. Judge Chen is special. She seems to love her job and is very proud to be known as the Judge Mum of Guangzhou. What happens when a juvenile comes before her court is very different to what happens when a juvenile appears before a court in the West. Juvenile crime is a problem in every country. Kids do bad things. China acknowledges this and has been addressing it through legislation and changes to education. Judge Chen is also incorporating Confucian values and involving society in her decisions. We met one of the people she convicted of a serious crime a few years ago. Obviously, I can't show you his face, nor tell you his name, but he is real and we did speak to him at length. As a teenager, he took a car. He hadn't learned to drive and he lost control, killing someone. And there isn't much worse that can go wrong in a young man's life. Out for fun, suddenly looking at a long term of imprisonment due to his stupidity. He acknowledged his guilt, he faced the court and apologized. He's met the family of his victim, and although they were reluctant to meet him, having done so, they've now forgiven him. He was sentenced to a term of imprisonment and ordered to pay recompense. His family had to help him with that. He was also banned from driving for his entire life. When he went to the detention center, he was a model prisoner. He helped others, and this was recognized. During the CPC's 100th year, and as part of the celebrations of it, the government decided to offer an amnesty to juveniles who had committed offenses, shown appropriate remorse, and behaved in a good way. It's not the first time they've done it either. In 2015, Xi Jinping signed a release order that allowed over 29,000 juvenile offenders to be released. They did it again in 2019 to mark the 70th year of the PRC, and they did it at the 100th year of the Communist Party of China. All this happened because rather than just throw the kid into a detention center, the court worked with the family and the victim's family. The young man needed to recognize his wrongdoing, but now he's one of tens of thousands of young people who's been given a second chance by the country. And that's not something you often hear about anywhere, let alone a country which is reported by so many outsiders to be authoritarian. It's reported in Chinese media when this happens, but I've never seen mention of it in Western media, except to criticize that it doesn't include more prisoners. After a lunch, we went with the judge to another aspect of her regular life, a meeting in the local party service center. And what was interesting about this meeting was that the national lawmaker sat for an hour and listened with local complaints. It wasn't about her legal work. This was about how local citizens live. I heard problems with parking in a village, problems with share bikes being badly ridden, no helmets, and then abandoned, where they cause problems for the locals. In fact, this local community street-level information that she was gathering. Angry citizens turned into smiling locals as she handled their inquiries, dealt with their issues, and resolved their problems. I was a little surprised that I didn't see any security there. He was a lawmaker, one of the highest in the land, a judge of the Juvenile and Family Court, chatting on a friendly and supportive basis with locals with issues, very local issues, proving at least to me that their form of democracy does work in China. People who see the NPC or the CPPCC as nothing more than a rubber stamp parliament are getting their information from the wrong places like Wikipedia and headlines in gutter press reports. Those who take the time, look at the issues, examine how they're dealt with, can see China has something that the West hasn't got. China likes to call it whole process democracy. I prefer to call it collaborative governance. But what the name is doesn't matter. It definitely falls under the category of democracy. Here, the people hold the power and the government derives its power from those people. This really is the People's Republic of China because it's advised by the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference so that the National People's Congress can write the laws that the people want. That's a lot of peoples, but then that's how China works.